Welcome to Bible Stories Network, your daily source for exploring the profound narratives and timeless wisdom found in the Holy Scriptures. Today, we delve into the extraordinary story of Hezekiah, a king of Judah whose faith and reliance on God led to one of the most remarkable acts of divine intervention recorded in the Bible. Hezekiah's reign is detailed in 2 Kings, where he is portrayed as a beacon of righteousness amid a time of idolatry and moral decay. Unlike his father, King Ahaz, who filled the land with pagan practices, Hezekiah led a spiritual reformation, mirroring the devout spirit of King David. He did right in the sight of the Lord, in accordance with everything that David, his father, had done. 2 Kings 18:3. Hezekiah boldly dismantled the high places of pagan worship, destroyed the Asherah poles, and reduced the bronze serpent, once a symbol of God's healing power, to pieces, as it had become an object of idolatry. His faith and reforms set him apart. He trusted in the Lord, the God of Israel. There was no one like him among all the kings of Judah. 2 Kings 18:5. This era of spiritual renewal, however, was soon tested. In the 14th year of his reign, the mighty Assyrian Empire, under King Sennacherib, launched an assault on Judah. After capturing many fortified cities, the Assyrian army encamped before Jerusalem. Facing overwhelming odds, Hezekiah sought peace, offering a heavy tribute to Sennacherib, even stripping gold from the doors of the Lord's temple to meet the demand. But the Assyrian king's appetite for conquest was insatiable. Sennacherib's chief spokesman, the Rabshakeh, stood before Jerusalem's walls, taunting the people and undermining their trust in God. He mocked Hezekiah's reforms, falsely claiming they had angered God, and boasted that no God could stand against Assyria's might. "Who among all the gods of the lands have rescued their lands from my hand? Why should the Lord rescue Jerusalem?" 2 Kings 18:35. The Rabshakeh's speech was not just a threat, but a calculated attempt to break the spirit of the people of Jerusalem. His rhetoric was designed to instill fear and doubt, urging them to surrender rather than trust in Hezekiah's leadership and God's protection. However, Hezekiah's response was rooted in faith and reliance on divine guidance. Hezekiah, deeply grieved, turned to the Lord. He sent his officials to the prophet Isaiah, who delivered a message of hope. "Do not be afraid. I will defend this city and save it, for my sake and for the sake of my servant David." 2 Kings 19:6-7:34. God assured Hezekiah that Sennacherib would not conquer Jerusalem. When Sennacherib sent another threatening message, Hezekiah went to the temple and spread the letter before the Lord, praying earnestly, "O Lord, the God of Israel, you alone are God. Now, O Lord our God, deliver us from his hand, so that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you alone, Lord, are God." 2 Kings 19:15-19. This prayer was a profound moment of humility and trust. By laying the Assyrian king's blasphemous threats before God, Hezekiah acknowledged his own helplessness and recognized God's supreme power. This act of surrender became a pivotal turning point in the narrative. God's response through Isaiah was swift and decisive. That very night, the angel of the Lord struck down 185,000 Assyrian soldiers. The once invincible army was utterly destroyed, and Sennacherib returned to Nineveh in disgrace. There he was assassinated by his own sons, fulfilling God's prophecy of his downfall. This miraculous deliverance is a testament to God's power and faithfulness. It highlights the importance of trust and prayer in times of crisis. Hezekiah's unwavering faith, even in the face of overwhelming odds, serves as a profound example for believers today. When we turn to God with humility and sincerity, he is faithful to intervene. The story of Hezekiah also reminds us of the significance of spiritual leadership. As a king, Hezekiah's actions had a profound impact on his people. By removing idols and re-establishing true worship, he not only restored the nation's relationship with God, but also laid the foundation for God's protection during their darkest hour. The Assyrian threat was not merely a political or military crisis. It was a spiritual test. The Rabshakeh's taunts represented the forces of doubt and fear that often challenge believers' faith. Yet, Hezekiah's steadfastness demonstrates the power of turning to God in prayer and trusting his promises, even when circumstances seem dire. Moreover, this story underscores God's sovereignty over nations and history. Sennacherib's downfall was not just a victory for Judah. It was a declaration of God's authority over all earthly powers. The destruction of the Assyrian army was a vivid reminder that no force, no matter how mighty, can stand against the will of the Almighty. Let's take a moment to explore how Hezekiah's leadership extends beyond his military and political strategies. His reforms were deeply spiritual, emphasizing the need to restore true worship among the people of Judah. Hezekiah understood that the strength of a nation lay not in its armies or wealth, but in its relationship with God. This is a powerful reminder for believers today, urging us to prioritize our spiritual foundations above all else. In the face of adversity, Hezekiah's actions were marked by humility. Unlike many leaders who might rely on their own strength or political alliances, Hezekiah turned to prayer. His willingness to seek God's guidance underscores a vital lesson for all of us: humility before God is the first step toward experiencing his power in our lives. This humility is evident in the way Hezekiah spread Sennacherib's letter before the Lord, an act of both surrender and faith. The response from God through Isaiah reveals another critical aspect of this story. God's timing and methods are beyond human comprehension. While Judah's situation seemed hopeless, God intervened in a way that no one could have anticipated. The destruction of the Assyrian army by a single angel is a testament to God's unmatched power. It serves as a reminder that even when our circumstances appear insurmountable, God's solutions are always sufficient. As we reflect on this story, we are also invited to consider the role of prophetic voices in guiding God's people. Isaiah's presence in this narrative is crucial. His unwavering faith and direct communication with God provided the reassurance and guidance that Hezekiah needed during a time of crisis. This highlights the importance of surrounding ourselves with individuals who can encourage and strengthen our faith. Additionally, this story challenges us to confront our own fears and doubts. The Rabshakeh's words were designed to instill despair, but Hezekiah's faith in God allowed him to rise above these attempts to undermine his trust. For modern believers, this is a call to hold fast to God's promises, even when faced with voices of doubt and fear in our own lives. Consider also the impact of collective faith. The people of Jerusalem were undoubtedly aware of the threat posed by the Assyrian army. Yet Hezekiah's leadership and faith provided them with a model of trust and reliance on God. This collective act of faith played a role in their deliverance. It's a reminder that our personal faith can inspire and strengthen others in our communities. Finally, the conclusion of Sennacherib's story is a sobering reminder of God's justice. His arrogance and blasphemy led to his downfall, demonstrating that no earthly power can oppose God without consequence. This serves as both a warning and an encouragement. A warning to those who defy God and an encouragement to those who trust in Him, knowing that His justice will prevail. As we close, let's reflect on how this story speaks to our own lives. Are there areas where we need to trust God more fully? Are we prioritizing our relationship with Him above all else? And how can we inspire others through our faith, just as Hezekiah inspired the people of Judah? Thank you for joining us today on Bible Stories Network. Remember, we post daily, exploring the rich tapestry of biblical narratives and drawing out their timeless wisdom. Until next time, may God bless you and keep you.